Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 16. Krishna chastises the serpent Kaliya. We will see from text 20 to 22. 22 has got a purport. So I'll read the translations of 20 and 21 and then we will do 22 together. Text 20. When the young gopis, whose minds were constantly attached to Krishna, the unlimited Supreme Lord, saw that he was now within the grips of the serpent, they remembered his loving friendship, his smiling glances, and his talks with them. Burning with great sorrow, they saw the entire universe as void. Text 21. Although the elder gopis were feeling just as much distress as she and were pouring forth a flood of sorrowful tears, they had to forcibly hold back Krishna's mother, whose consciousness was totally absorbed in her son. Standing like corpses with their eyes fixed upon his face, these gopis each took turns recounting the pastimes of the darling of Vraja. Text 22, please repeat after me. Krishna pranan nirvishatah Nanda Adin Vikshya Tam Hradam Pratyashedat Saham Bhagavan Ramah Krishna Anubhava Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadhin vikshyatam hradam Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Rama Krishna Anubhavavit Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadin vikshyatam hradam Tanghradam, it's not tam. Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Rama Krishna Anubhavavit Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadin vikshyatam hradam Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Rama Krishna Anubhavavit Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadin vikshyatam hradam Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Rama Krishna Anubhavavit Krishna pranan nirvishato Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Rama Krishna Anubhavavin. Anyone else? Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadin vikshyatam hradam Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Ramakrishnanubhavavit. Matajis. Krishna pranan nirvishato sa Bhagavan Krishnanubhavavit. Krishna pranan nirvishato Nandadin vikshyatam hradam Pratyashedat sa Bhagavan Ramakrishnanubhavavit. Krishna pranan, the man whose very life and soul was Krishna. Nirvishataha, entering. Nanda Adin, headed by Nanda Maharaja. Vikshya, seeing. Tam, that. Hradam, lake. Pratyashedat, forbade. Saha, he. Bhagavan, the all-powerful Lord. Ramaha, Balarama. Krishna, of Lord Krishna. Anubhava, the power. With, knowing well. Translation and commentary by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Translation. Lord Balarama then saw that Nanda Maharaja and the other cowherd men who had dedicated their very lives to Krishna were beginning to enter the serpent's lake. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balarama fully knew Lord Krishna's actual power and therefore he restrained them. Purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains that Lord Balarama checked some of the cowherd men by speaking to them, others by physically holding them, and still others by casting upon them his potent smiling glance. Distraught over the situation, they were prepared to give up their lives for Lord Krishna by entering the serpent's lake. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikasa Swaminiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So yet another amazing pastime we are dealing with. Lord Krishna chastising the Kaliya. And through this pastime, Krishna is showing that one may have so much of power, one may have so much of knowledge, one may have so much of wealth, one may have so much of education, whatever may be one's talent. The first and foremost principle is to remain humble. Vidya dadati vinayam. So that's very important principle. And we can see Krishna subdues Kaliya, although he was like completely controlling the lake and he had all the power, but later as the verses manifest, we will see how Krishna completely subdued Kaliya. Now, we can see at the beginning of this chapter, the conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Shukadeva Goswami also, he had totally 7 days to present the entire Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And we can see at the beginning, there is a reason the Acharyas are pointing out. He almost narrated the entire incident in one verse. He just pointed out that yes, there was a lake. In the lake, Kaliya was there, Krishna came and subdued. He wanted to kind of go to the next topic. Then Parikshit Maharaj was so eager to know what happened. And also, we can see how Parikshit Maharaj is, and Shukadeva Goswami, both of them are relishing the nectarian topics of Krishna. So in one of the verse, it's being pointed out that one never gets satiated. There is no end to the topics about the Lord and the interaction between his devotees and the Lord's benevolence and the Lord's affection for his devotees and how the devotees try to please the Lord. So it's a ever-increasing bliss. Anandang buddhi vardhanam pratipadam. At every step, the bliss is just increasing. There is no end. And we also see in the beginning, Shukadeva Goswami, then he goes on to, one of the reasons that the Acharyas are pointing out is that Shukadeva Goswami also is not able to bear at the beginning the incident, what has happened. It was quite heavy. Krishna being wrapped up by Kaliya, by his coils, and so Parikshit was also in anxiety. So he also knew about Parikshit's mood. Shukadeva Goswami didn't want to discuss about it. So these are all showing the deep moods of the devotees who are in great love for Krishna. They cannot bear anything untoward incident that is happening to Krishna. Although Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is under his control. But the Vrajavasis, those who are following in the footsteps of the Vrajavasis, their mood is completely, their understanding is that Krishna is a small boy. He needs to be protected. That was their mood. And so Shukadeva Goswami goes on to explain about what is this Kaliya lake and what is this lake in which Kaliya was residing and who was Kaliya, and he is giving the background. And then Krishna, then in few other verses he explains that how Krishna entered the lake saying he made himself ready, he tightened his belt, he jumped into the lake. And then further he explains that how Kaliya, seeing Krishna, he enveloped Krishna with his coils. Then in quite some series of verses, he's pointing out, he's expressing the love of the gopis, how much they're attached to Krishna, the mothers, other residents in Vrindavan and Gokul, how they are so much attached to Krishna. When they all heard the news, they just came running. They were all in fear. They were all in great anxiety. That anxiety was very deep. The gopis, the cows, and so many others were in great anxiety, saying, what to do now? What's happening here? So what is the solution? So they were in great anxiety. And then Shukadeva Goswami explains the point that how Balaram was aware of Krishna's powers. He knew. And also another anxiety was that Nanda Maharaj and others, they also knew that, maybe, when they heard about the bad omens, so they were worried. Krishna went alone today to the forest. So Balaram is also not there. What's going to happen to him? So they were worried like that. And then in verses from 17 to 19, you can see how the devotees in Vrindavan, they all ran when they heard the news. When they got the news that Krishna is inside the lake, he's being wrapped up by the coils, they were totally worried and they were stunned. And they all came to the spot, and then they were almost like they have given up their life. They were totally struck. And in the verse 20, Shukadeva Goswami explains about what is the mood in which the gopis were taking the whole situation. They were very much, they were in great fear. They were very much worried what is going to happen to Krishna. And also, as Shukadeva Goswami is explaining, in verse 22, in 21, he explains that what happened to Mother Yashoda when she heard. So although the elder gopis were feeling just as much distress as she and were pouring forth a flood of sorrowful tears, they had to forcibly hold back Krishna's mother, whose consciousness was totally absorbed in her son. So Mother Yashoda she actually wanted to get inside the lake. That was the situation. So the situation was very, 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 very grave. So they were very much worried. So Srila Sanatana Goswami, He explains further, he explains what Shukadeva Goswami is trying to explain here. What was the suffering the gopis were undergoing. And he gives a reference from the from Padma Purana, I think. Yeah, he refers to a verse from the Padma Purana, and he is referring to the whole situation. I'll just read a little bit of it. It shows what is the mood in which they were. We will all enter the huge lake of the snake king with Yashoda. It is not proper for us to return Vraja. So then you can see the expression of love the gopis have for Krishna. So for them, Krishna is, as today's verse mentions, Krishna Pranan. So Krishna is their very life and soul. It's very difficult for us to understand in a very conditioned state the deep expression of love they have for Krishna. So they express their love like this. What is the day without the sun? We cannot imagine any day without seeing the sun. And then the night without the moon. And what is the cow without the bull? The cows are always grazing with the bulls. And what is Vraja without Krishna? So this is what they're speaking. How can we know we can lead our life without Krishna being present? If something is going to happen to him, what is it? What is the meaning of our lives? There is no meaning. So he further explains, without Krishna, we cannot return to Gokula incomplete. Where Krishna with the complexion of a blue lotus is absent is like a forest having a lake without water. Now summer season is coming up, so we can see the lake without water. I mean, it doesn't look like a lake at all. It looks very odd, but we can see the lake is so beautifully. It looks very nice in a village or any place when there is a lake and there is a lush, green field. So for them, Krishna without Krishna, it's like that. And then further he explains, "Oh Yashoda, not seeing Krishna with lotus eyes, how could the wretched people continue living in the village? Since the unlimited treasures of our minds have been captured by his sweet speech." So Krishna's speech, Krishna's glances, Krishna's every moment is very attractive. It's very sweet. So they decided that what's the point? There's no point going back to Gokula. We will not go back. So then what happened? They started how they are trying to overcome the situation by discussing what Krishna had done before. They were trying to convince Mother Yashoda, what is this? It's not a big thing. Krishna will soon come out of this situation. He overcame when Putana and other demons came and then tried to kill Krishna. Krishna just somehow or other he protected himself. He had the blessings of Narayana. So he thinks he will be able to overcome. Like that they were speaking, but then the next moment they themselves could not hold it. So they were almost like dead body. They were, tears were flowing from their eyes. So that was their expression of love. We can see in the verses of Shukadeva Goswami has explained. And also they try to stop Mother Yashoda entering the lake. So, and now in today's verse specifically, this word is, we will discuss about this word Krishna Pranan, where the translation is explained here as dedicating their very lives or risking their very lives. So we already knew that some of the gopas they tried to enter the lake, and then they when they saw the scene was like this. When they just came to the place in front of the lake, they saw quite some gopas were dead. Krishna is enwrapped by the Kaliya. So they were all wondering. They also wanted to enter. So then now, as Shukadeva Goswami is explaining the position of Lord Balaram. So in this verse, very nicely it is explained that Nirvishato. So they were trying to enter the lake. Nandadin Vikshyatam Hradam Pratyashedat Sa Bhagavan. But Bhagavan is referred to as Balaram. Balaram knew the powers of Krishna. Who was Krishna? What is big thing for Krishna to deal with this Kaliya? So he knew about it. So Bhagavan Rama Krishnanubhavavit. So Krishnanubhavavit refers to he knew the powers of Krishna. He was well aware of it. So what he did with some of them, he tried to speak to them and explain to them and explain the situation. Don't worry, everything will be taken care. You just don't enter the lake. And with others, just with his sidelong glances, he was able to convince them. He held them. And with some, he had to physically stop them. Still, some of them could not restrict themselves. They want to enter the lake. So he physically stopped them entering the lake. And then also, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary points out that he said that, hey, you all have forgotten You know what Gargacharya said? There may be dangers, but Krishna will overcome everything. He will be victorious. So don't worry. And then he tried to convince them, explaining that, you see, if Krishna is going to come out victorious, now if all of you go and then you all die, who will take care of Krishna? Who will feed him? Who will bathe him? Who will have loving exchanges with him? So don't do that. So like this, Balaram convinced the Gopas and the other gopis not to enter the lake. Now that's the thing. So in this particular verse, this Krishna Pranan, it's very interesting that giving the lives for Krishna. So this is how a devotee's life, a devotee is always ready to dedicate his life in Krishna's service. And this is a very important aspect we need to understand. So the whole Krishna consciousness process is meant to dedicate our lives in the service of the Lord. So in the Bhagavatam, Krishna himself, he explains how one should mold his life so that his body, mind, words, intelligence, everything he can engage in the service of the Lord. So etavan, how the verse goes? Pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreyah acharanam sada. Anybody remembers how the verse starts? I forgot. Anyway, so the point is pranair with the very life. Arthair is the whatever wealth, assets you have. Arthair dhiya is intelligence, and vacha are the words. One should engage all these 4 traits, whatever that he has. One should completely give that in the service of Krishna. So that's a very important thing. So that's what, when we come in the association of devotees, hear from the acharyas, we, instead of giving our entire life for the satisfaction of our senses and mind, we should give our life in Krishna's service. In fact, that's what Krishna is demanding. The Bhagavad Gita says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasyami masuchaha. So Krishna says that just give your life to me, I will relieve you from all the sins. Don't have any fear. So the whole Krishna conscious process is a training to elevate our faith, to raise our faith to such an extent that Krishna is our real well-wisher. He is our protector. He is everything for us. So that's by proper knowledge and developing faith, we'll be able to raise ourselves to this standard. So that's why we have the whole process of sadhana bhakti. So in the conditioned state, we have our faith, we have our shelter on so many other things. We have our faith on our wife, on our children, on our parents, in the land in which we are born, the assets that we have, the position that we have in the society. We because of ignorance, we try to give our life for all these things. But the real intelligence is to understand that our real well-wisher, our real protector, our real master is Krishna. So when one comes to this understanding, then one will be properly situated. So that's one aspect of it. And we see here in one of the purports to the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada makes a very interesting point, that how when people are in ignorance, they, because of not understanding the purpose of life, not understanding who is supreme, what is the relationship with the Supreme Lord, and how we can really be happy by engaging in His service, what they are trying to do, they are trying to waste their life in petty sense enjoyment. So Srila Prabhupada in one of the purports here makes this point. In the Kali Yuga, the population is just a royal edition of the animals. So brilliant, Prabhupada, the way he writes. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the needs of the body. They have no information of the spirit soul beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement of knowledge, science and material prosperity. So we can see literally people, they give up their lives for this only. They all want to earn a lot. They all want to get some degree, get so-called education, and then finally deny the existence of God. And they get, they want to get name and fame, thinking they are going to be permanently residing in this world. So Srila Prabhupada points out that this is the status of the advancement of knowledge, science and material prosperity here. Everybody becomes so proud, everyone becomes so puffed up. I was just speaking to one devotee some 4 or 5 days back. He said that his son had asked him, Appa, what is this? For 20 years you are going to ISKCON. What you have learned? What is your realization? You tell me. So this father told his son that in the 20 years after having come did some service and heard from Srila Prabhupada and other things, I learned that I am number one fool. So this boy was kind of making a mockery of the father. What is this? You learned that you are number one fool. Is this what you learned? But actually the understanding is that number one fool means we understand that yes, I am a fool. I have not understood that the goal of life is to surrender to Krishna. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. I am meant to serve the Lord. Rather, I am trying to engage my body, mind and senses vigorously, trying to satisfy the senses. So I am a number one fool by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas and the Shastras and the devotees. Now I have got this knowledge. That's the understanding. So in fact, that's the same response now when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was advised by his guru that you are a number one fool. You are not fit to study Vedanta Sutra and other scriptures. You just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I mean, the point that I'm trying to recount here is that when a devotee only has this understanding, he's not proud of his knowledge, he's not proud of his position, he's not proud of his abilities. He knows that actually all the whatever abilities he has got, whatever wealth he has got, whatever intelligence he has got, whatever asserts he has got, everything actually is the mercy of the Lord. And he knows this and he engages it in Krishna's service. So this is the proper understanding. So that's why at the beginning we were discussing that vidya dadhati vinayam. So by the study of scriptures, by anything that you learn, that should lead to humility. But in the this is one of the great problems in the modern world. People are so much, they have so much knowledge, they know about many things, but we can see they are so proud. So Guru Maharaj's Holiness Bhaktivika Swami used to give an example. He used to say, just come out and then in the night time you can look at the stars. Just look at the sky and the stars, and we can understand that how insignificant we are, how small we are in this tiny world. In this vast place that you see, we are very, very tiny actually. And you can see this is only one universe. There are millions and millions of universes like this. And we are so tiny and we are thinking that we are so great. So this is foolishness. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is pointing out in this purport. And then Srila Prabhupada makes a mockery. He says that they can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, for they have completely lost sight of the ultimate goal of life. You see? This is the point. So much risk, so much hardships they take, and after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of so much hard work, you have not understood who you are, what is the goal of your life, what is going to be your destination, and you have risked so much, and at the cost of what? You are going to lose your valuable human form of life. So this is real foolishness. And the same theme you can see in the Bhagavatam is being mentioned. Even Prahlad Maharaj is also teaching this. So it is a famous verse where he is explaining that Konvarta Trishnam Visrujet Pranebhyo Apiya Ipsitaha Yang Krinat Yasubihi Preshtais Taskara Sevako Vanik. So here in this verse, it's being pointed out that money is so dear to everyone. Money is sweeter than honey, we hear. This is what is being pointed out here. Then for that, just to accumulate money, what people are doing, they're ready to risk their life. And he gives example. What are the examples? He makes the point that Taskaraha Sevako Vanik. Taskaraha is one who is a thief. What he does, he takes so much risk. His life is at great danger. He goes in the night, he does the robbery. Anyone can shoot him. So, but he takes great risks. He is ready to give up his life. And Sevaka is specifically here it's pointing out that the soldiers, they risk their life for the nation. So that is being pointed out. And they also are ready to give up their life. And also you can see there are so many facilities and other things are given. Specifically they're doing it for the money. But then there is another point on that. We will discuss about it. And then another example that is given is Vanik. Then businessmen, they also take so much risk. They're traveling, they're crossing the sea. And also we can see there are so many others who are engaged in various kinds of work. Specifically in the modern days, so much Ugra Karma. People are taking so much of risk. They're going to the oil refineries. You can see they're in the middle of the ocean. They're risking their lives just for whatever salary they're going to get. So he's saying that, but what is the point of risking lives for these things simply for pretty sense gratification? So that's what Srila Prabhupada is pointing out. So then Srila Prabhupada goes on to explaining on the purport to this verse. Srila Prabhupada points out that that's why a training is required right from young age, so that people can understand what is the goal of life. What is it that for which we have to really devote our energy, really spend all our time and energy for what is it that we have to really consciously work for. So that training needs to be given. This is one of the main points Srila Prabhupada points out. So for a devotee who is being trained in Krishna consciousness, he understands and is ready to take risks to please Krishna. So this is the whole. If you see how our ISKCON expanded right from day one, Srila Prabhupada is the first and foremost example. Of course, the previous acharyas and everyone have taken risk to please Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada was a pioneer. While starting the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, he himself traveled at such an old age. It was a great risk he took. Who can travel in the old age across the ocean? Even traveling itself is very difficult these days. But for even to travel over the ship, and it's a great hardship. So Srila Prabhupada himself said that. And not only that, he inspired all his disciples to take such risks for Krishna. And we can see how our ISKCON expanded. Right from far east to the south, north, into all corners of the globe, ISKCON is spread. Not that we had all the facilities, we had all the money, we had all the men. Nothing was there. Everything was started from scratch. No facilities, nothing. Now we are now going out, trying to collect some Lakshmi for Krishna. We are trying to construct temple. We are collecting donation. We are meeting. We know how much hard it is, how difficult it is. So many devotees are risking so much of their time, energy, in a very selfless way. But then at the beginning there was nothing. Everything, they had so much faith on the holy name, they had faith on the words of the Acharya, and then they took so much risk to please Prabhupada. So Prabhupada inspired his spirit in the devotees that life is meant to please Krishna. So it is worth giving this life for Krishna. So whatever may be one's condition, one may be a grahastha, one may be a brahmachari, one may be a vanaprastha, whatever may be the situation, that spirit of giving our life to Krishna should be inculcated. In fact, this is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement. That spirit means that Krishna, I am your eternal servant, I am simply meant to give pleasure to you. So that's why many of the people can't understand why not this facility, why not that facility, why not this, why not that. They ask so many questions, why? Because the fundamental premise is that, as Krishna's Kaviraja Goswami puts in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, in fact this is kind of a Paribhasha Sutra, or this is the fundamental principle in which the entire devotional service is built. That Atendriya Preeti Vancha Thare Bhali Kam, Krishnendriya Preeti Icha Dhare Premanam. So that our existence is meant to please Krishna. That means that we are meant to please Krishna's senses. When we try to please our senses, that is Kama. When we try to please Krishna's senses, that is Prema. And when we try to put this principle in perspective, then everything we can understand, our lifestyle, our worldview, the way we eat, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we deal with others, everything is based on this perspective. So the whole culture, the whole Krishna conscious culture is based on this perspective of trying to please Krishna and his devotees and building a whole society for the pleasure of the Lord and for the mission of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada, in one of the letters to Amoga, one of his disciples, who was preaching in different places. Prabhupada sent several devotees to several places. So he was very much pointing out that when a devotee takes risks to please Krishna, Krishna is in the protection of Krishna. So it's a very nice letter. Prabhupada, in a very simple way, he points out, he says that when the soldiers risk their lives on the battlefield, the government is very much inclined to give them all facilities in their work. Even the citizens may be deprived of their comforts. So, Krishna takes special appreciation for his devotees who are engaged in risking for his preaching work. And he will give you special care and guidance at all times because you are sincerely trying to serve him in this way. Thank you very much for your sincere endeavors. So this is a letter Srila Prabhupada wrote in the 9th August 1972. So like that, there are so many letters in which Srila Prabhupada appreciated the devotees who took pains to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. So we can see here the great expression of love that the gopis and the other gopas, they are expressing to Krishna because they have intense love for Krishna. So we can also develop that intense love when we stick to the words of the acharyas and the Guru Sadhu Shastra Vakya Chittate Koriyahikya. So we need to understand this principle and we need to work on this principle. So that's why we have the whole process of sadhana bhakti. We have a morning program, we have an evening program, we're studying Srila Prabhupada's books. Everybody has got a mission in Srila Prabhupada's movement. We all have some service. So we have to give our body, mind and words in that. Then there will be a purification of heart. So everybody has got different capacities, everyone has got different propensities. So we all are engaged and we should give 100%. That's the whole point. So that's why we are giving training, that's why we have a spiritual master, we have other senior devotees to guide us. So if we can take responsibility for whatever service that is given to us and then we try to focus and try to do it nicely, it will be very pleasing for Krishna and we get the shelter of Krishna, we get the shelter of the devotees. And at the end of the day, we will definitely develop loving feelings for the Lord. So that's the whole point. So there are two things. One is our personal practice of Krishna consciousness, which is to develop love for the Lord. And also we have the mission. Our mission is given. So both are not different, both are same. That when we try to practice the principles of Krishna consciousness seriously, the desire to please Guru, the desire to fulfill the missionary activities that our acharyas have given, the desire will increase. So, when we hear about the great examples of so many devotees who have done great risks in expanding the Krishna consciousness movement, we get great inspiration. So from our side, in whatever tiny way we can do, we can start with. Everything is in every endeavor there may be so many obstacles, but we have to be we should be very positive. We should take it that yes, Krishna's words are true, Krishna's instructions are true. There will be so many obstacles, but nevertheless, I will not give up. I will try. Everything could start even from very much from the basics. We can wake up on time. We can come for Mangala Arati. We can chant our rounds with sincerity. So many devotees have come near the temple. But how many of them are making use of the opportunity of the temple? Temple is there. There are classes happening. There are kirtans happening. So seva is not a burden. Seva is a great opportunity for purification. We can regularly come and hear. In fact, we can mold our life. We may have so many of the devotees will have many priorities. Somehow or other, we should mold our lives in such a way that we should give priority to hearing and service in the temple. That's very much appreciated. In fact, in that way, there will be purification that will happen. I'm not pointing out particularly some individuals or something, but the whole principle we need to understand. If we mold our life, there is no time. We are staying near temple, but we come once a day for festival. But that's not going to be of any help. And if we consider service as a big burden, then how are we going to make progress? So service is a great opportunity for purification. That we need to understand. So then, all these things to render service, to render more service, to dedicate our lives more, these kind of attitude will come when we regularly hear. And when we regularly try to chant and hear and associate with devotees, naturally this will increase. And then we can see how much anarthas we have, how much of attachments we have. All these things we can see. And our dealings with other devotees, our relationship with other devotees, everything will increase. And then we will be very much, even if there may be tasks which may appear difficult, we will have the attitude, let's try it, let's give it a try, let's do it. Let's go out and distribute books. Let's meet people. Let's bring more people to the temple. Let's preach. Otherwise, we will be, just pointing out, so much of finding out another person's fault, this person's fault. He's like this, he's like that, and then you can see such person who don't have proper understanding. They will only be finding faults. They will neither do any service nor contribute for the movement. They will just be like the flies which goes and sits in the stool. What is the point? We can see here, Bhagavatam is giving so much nectarian knowledge. And it's all to develop love for Krishna. And we can develop love for Krishna only when we follow the instructions of the pure devotees that are given. So many devotees are 3 days back, one devotee said, I have been coming for 2 years, so please consider me for initiation. Okay, great. Very nice. You have developed a desire for initiation, but there are some prerequisites which we also need to follow. You want to be a disciple, you have to develop a discipline. So without discipline, how we can become a disciple? So attending programs, asking for service, all these things are part of the devotional service. That is, when we have life, we will do all these things. Otherwise, it is only a ritual, coming, going for a program, attending, doing something, and then, okay, I have put my attendance, I have done. But really, we need to, if you want to make progress, we have to give our body, mind and words. Pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. Yes, Krishna is demanding. Krishna's devotees are demanding, but that pressure is very good for us. It helps us, it purifies us. That's very nice. Otherwise, what's the point? We have been coming and going. And we should take it up sincerely. And then we can see we'll be happy. We'll be at the end of the day very happy. And then we can inspire so many other devotees as well. So we can see it's very difficult for us to understand also, how these gopis and others are expressing such deep mood. They want to jump into the lake. They want to give up their life because they have so much affection for Krishna. So that is their pure love. They are glorified for that. That's why it is explained that we have to follow in the footsteps of the gopis, or those devotees who are following the footsteps of the gopis. That is the standard. That is the hallmark. So we know, as Maharaj was explaining, that Radha Krishna is somewhere there, so up, and we are right now in the gutter. Gutter means we are in the material world. We have so much of anatta, so much of attachments. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Moha, everything is just haunting us. So at least we should know, okay, this is the vision, this is where it is, where am I situated now, what I need to do. I need to scale up myself, I need mercy, I need help. So this is called as introspection, right? So we should, so when we associate with devotees, when the devotees give good advice, we should take it in positive spirit. There is no support for me, nobody is giving me any guidance. If you need guidance, you will have support. Everything will happen. But the desire should be there. The desire to please, the desire to let us take little hardships. And we are not being demanded to do, so we are not being given such a great task of, going to some, go to Morocco and then preach. Such kind of difficult tasks are not given to us. The Acharya knows to whom to give, what kind of responsibility, other things. Basic things, we need to first put it straight. Then we can see automatically, and we can see those devotees who have experienced this. This is not something theoretical we are speaking. Those you can see in this ISKCON, for 20 years, 25 years, who have been steadily, 30 years, you can see advanced devotees who are disciples of Prabhupada, who have been steadily practicing, who have been preaching, practicing. You can not see them morose or not inspired. They are always inspired because they are completely in touch with the pure process of Krishna consciousness. Their chanting is very nice. Their reading, their hearing, their service, their dedication. All these things gives us great inspiration. And so it's a time-tested process. As Krishna says, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashitaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Mad Bhava Magataha. So many people in the past have practiced and they have attained perfection. And we can see in our own movement, there are so many. So those who are studying, those who are following, so His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj used to say, those who are following strictly the principles, there has never been a case that he has left the movement or he has fallen down. When there are lapses, when there are deviations, when we take the whole devotional process very light, then there are so many deviations, so many misunderstandings. Then what is the question of developing love for Krishna? Very difficult. Yeah, Prabhupada in one instance he said that regarding again coming back to this topic of risking their lives, Prabhupada said that those who go, once he said that to one devotee, that those who go and then preach in North Africa, I will take the dust and put on my, from their feet, I will put the dust on my head, Prabhupada said. In another place, Dayananda Prabhu, he recollects in one of his memory, he says that those devotees who go and preach in the Mideast Muslim countries, so Prabhupada said that I will take their dust from that. So Prabhupada, so much he encouraged and engaged devotees. So coming back to another point that just it reminded me a couple of more incidents as we see here the gopis are lamenting about Krishna's position. We also see, I just remembered 2 days back, reading Gaur Purnima, Advaita Acharya and other devotees in Navadvip, when they heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually took sannyas. Okay, so they were all in great, they are almost dead. Advaita Acharya, when he heard the news that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and he has left, so he was ready to give up his body. He said that, okay, now it's daytime. If I try to jump in Ganga, everybody will see me, so I will do it in the night time. Let me finish my life. And then all other devotees who were there, they were all crying, they were all rolling on the ground. Nobody could bear the separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking sannyas and leaving. Because for them, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very life and soul. Krishna Pranan, like that, they were Chaitanya Pranan. That's how they were leading their life. It was very hard. So most of them, they decided to give up their life. And they heard, when they were in that situation, they heard the voice from the sky. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this. Actually, it's to develop more attachment. You all will develop more attachment to him. He's going to perform more pastimes. And he wants to be away from non-devotees. That's the idea in which he did. So when they heard this voice from the sky, they understood that, okay, let's not do that, we will wait. So they also, the sound, the voice emphasized the point that in 3-4 days again he will come this side. So they all held themselves. So they were waiting to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the pure devotees of the Lord, they have so much love for Krishna. And also Ramanavami is coming up. We can see when the devotees, all the devotees in Ayodhya, when Rama and Lakshman and Citta, they were leaving Ayodhya, and then they were moving far ahead. And when one night they were staying near the Sarayu river. So all the entire Ayodhya, they just came back with Ram. They were just moving with him. So Lord Ram and Lakshman were discussing, what is this? What are we going to do? They are not going to leave us. They were ready to give up their lives. They will give up their lives. They will not give up us. So we have to do something about it. So in the midnight only they planned. So now everybody is resting. Let's now leave this place. So Ram and Lakshman, along with Sita, they ordered Sumantra, okay, let's leave. So that's how they left. So this whole... So in the material world, there is anxiety and there is tension and fear. That's for petty temporary things. But this is the real anxiety, real fear that one has. These are the real expressions of love that the devotee has for Krishna. So that's what the Bhagavatam is giving. So it is raising us from the anxiety of the material world to develop real anxiety for Krishna. So that's what the Bhagavatam is giving us. And as the verse unfolds, we will see how Krishna will control Kaliya and how he will dance and how he will, for the pleasure of the devotees. Krishna is going to, when Krishna saw the situation continuing like this, that all the devotees are about to leave themselves, so Krishna will now try to come out of being coiled by Kaliya. So we'll stop here. If you have any questions or comments or any realizations. I just have one small quote from Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. Very nice point. Srila Prabhupada is on the same theme. He's pointing. I'll just read this and I'll wind up. Prabhupada says, the word Bhauma refers to the land of one's birth, which the ignorant consider worshipable, Ijyadihi. People are willing to give up their lives for the land where they were born, but they do not know that land, body, wife, children, country and society really have nothing to do with them. We are spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi. This is realization of knowledge. And when we come to this point of knowledge, we become happy.